Hey guys, good morning and happy Wednesday. My name is Daryl, and I decided to make a few flat Earth videos. And I enjoy a lot of the flat Earth guys out there: Professor Sticks, Man Dan, the Creaky Blinder, Godless Engineer, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of these guys have a science background, and even though I understand and I know a lot of science and everything, but they've already gone through that, first of all. And I know you guys have heard this for the flat earthers, the space deniers, anti vaxxers, the moon landing deniers, the mud, oh, good Lord, the mud flooders. For all you guys, you've heard these guys quite a bit. So I thought, what different way can I take on the flat earth? And I'm an artist. I am a professional artist. Let me tell you, I got 13 years clean and sober, and I got involved back in art once I got clean. And I'm a professional artist. I sell my paintings. I'll turn the camera around. You guys can see some of my paintings. I'm getting ready for display at a couple of galleries around here. There's a couple over there. There's some over there, and I've got some over here that I'm getting ready to take out this weekend for displays for showing at a gallery. Anyway, I put a clip at the beginning of this video, and also before my addiction really caught on, I worked as an architect. I worked as a draftsman for a couple of prestigious architectural firms here in Connecticut, and I did that for about 5 years. And I worked as an engineer. I worked as an architectural draftsman and a mechanical engineer. So I thought, why not use my background in these things, like these other scientists and like Simon Dan and everything. They've got background in teaching and science. Well, my background's in art, and I'm 53 years old, almost 54. I've spent my whole life studying the world around me, seriously, to paint what I paint. I paint landscapes and seascapes, specifically trees, forests, the ocean. My forte, my specialty is trees. So we're gonna get into that shortly. So I was like, well, why not debunk the flat Earth with my specialty? Here goes. So as you guys saw, I do a lot of sunsets, sunrises, and I have been studying the clouds all of my life. The way the sun sets, the way the sun rises, the colors I use to paint clouds. I'm very particular of the colors I use. Brown, I forgot the exact color. Brown, not black, not brown, umber brown, sienna brown. Dizaxine purple, ultramarine blue, orange. And okay, so my point being, as you heard in the opening of this video, I've painted thousands of clouds, and on the bottom is where the light hits. On a flat Earth, if the sun never goes below the clouds. And the way I understand your model, it never goes below the clouds, does it? Supposedly, it just moves away from you. If it never goes below the clouds, there's no way the bottom of the clouds can ever be orange. No matter how far that sun goes in the distance, it should never light up the bottom of the clouds, because the clouds will always be below the sun. Am I correct? I believe I am. And, so the only way that this scene happens on a daily basis, I'm sure every single one of you flat earthers have seen clouds lit up underneath with the orange. And you could see around the back of the cloud, going up around the back, where you got the darker purples from the sky reflecting down. The only way this can happen is if the sun is going around and down over her horizon, down or coming up over her horizon, hitting underneath the clouds as it comes up over the horizon. That's the only way this can happen. That right there debunks your flat Earth. It does. Let me take on, I painted plenty of suns, and I painted plenty of moons. In my 54 years on this earth, I have never seen a small. Every time I painted and looked at that sun, it's always been the same size, the same spherical size, and same with the moon. I've never seen a teeny, teeny, teeny little moon going far, far away, which you would see supposedly in your model. If something goes into the distance, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I've never seen that, ever, 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 ever. I've never painted that. I've never painted a small little sun. If the sun's going away from you, it's going to get smaller. I know you guys have one video that I've seen. And to me, look, I'm not going to start going CGI or fake video. But come on, guys. I've seen one video where the sun supposedly gets smaller and smaller. And it's shaky. It's very questionable. To me, it's 100% questionable because it's not real. So on one hand, I've got 54 years of painting and observing the sun. And on your end, you've got one shaky, questionable video of a sun that gets smaller, supposedly. The sun and moon are always the same size. You ask anybody, the millions of people on this earth, and they all know the sun never gets smaller. You never see a teeny, teeny, teeny little sun far away. You never see that. And that's what you would see if the sun was going to distance. The only way you'd see the same size sun is if it was the same distance from the earth at all times, and same with the moon. I mean, yeah, the moon looks larger because it does get a little closer, as we know. I don't know, what's it, 1,000 miles, 400 miles? It doesn't really matter. And it does look larger sometimes, and that's due to atmospherical conditions and whatnot too. But my point being, and you never see a teeny little moon just disappear out into the distance. And that's what you would supposedly see in your model. Next, I told you guys trees. I've always painted trees, and I started thinking about how trees grow. They grow from a seed, okay? It's called positive and negative tropism. This is all off the top of my head. This is all, I have not looked one of these things up. This is all stuff I learned in school for 35 years ago, 40 years ago. I'm remembering this stuff. Positive and negative tropism. I believe negative tropism means when a tree grows up, away from the earth. And positive tropism is when the roots grow down towards gravity. Now, supposedly, you could think guys don't think gravity exists. So then how does a seed know? Well, how does a tree know? How do plants all know to grow upwards away from the earth? If you start growing a seed, it's going to go, that's the way it's going to go. The greens goes up, the seeds go down towards the ground. Because of gravity. The seed feels the gravity. Gravity affects that seed. And it's naturally, the roots naturally grow towards the source of the gravity. The actual plant grows away, negative tropism, away from the gravity. Buoyancy, density has no effect on a seed. Therefore, in your model, trees would be growing into the ground. Roots would be growing up into the air. It makes no sense. The only thing that affects these seeds, all plants on this earth, is negative and positive tropism. The effects of gravity. You are debunked. I don't know. I think that's a good start for now. I had a few other ones, the mud flood stuff. Like I said, I worked in architecture. One of the most important things for an architect is for a building to fit into its surroundings, to look almost like it was always there. The aesthetics and architects will design buildings to look like they've gone into the ground, and I have designed dozens of foundations. In Connecticut here, a foundation has to come up at least 8 inches away from the ground before you could put a window due to the frost line. and the precipitation and everything. I know you guys talk about these windows that are close to the ground. An architect will design windows to look like an 8-foot high window, 8-foot high window, 8-foot high window going down. Then the bottom window would look like half a window or a quarter of a window. That's the way we design them. I see you guys, and you're just talking about architecture. Another thing, I'm just going to brush on this I haven't given this a lot of thought, but before the invention of steel skeletons in buildings were all made of stone and brick and that, and they were only able to be a certain height. And you would have layers and deep foundations to hold all this weight. There was only so high these buildings could go until the advent of steel skeletons, steel frames, ironwork. And that affects the way these buildings sit in the earth. And the way there's like a layer, or what you guys perceive as where it was rebuilt or something. And that's just the natural architecture of the building, especially before the use of steel girders. I'm just touching on this right now. I don't want to get into the mud flood quite on this video, but that's a start. So, welcome to, I haven't got a name for this channel yet. I'm Artist in Recovery. And I'm going to debunk your flat earth badly. And I'm going to do it using my skills, which are especially artistry, the beauty of the earth that I've observed through my art, and through some architecture that I've got a background in. And that's how I'm going to debunk your flat earth. Welcome to my channel. Give me your responses. Have a nice day.